Hi guys, so I'm on today to do the second cake soap, which is going to be a different kind of look on the inside, and this one's going to be an apple pie type scent. So my oil, or my fragrance oils, are the apple pie from Candora, and I mixed in a little bit of the rest of my Santa's pipe. It's kind of spicy-ish, warm, you know, typical kind of Christmassy warm scent, like bakery type scent. So decided to put a little bit of that in there. So we'll get started. I've already mixed up my my icing so that it takes a little bit less time in this video. I also let my oils cool completely for 2 days, so they're a little bit thicker. So I will have to move a little bit more quickly as well. So let's get started now, and I hope that this angle works well. I'm in my new space. It's not really new, but I've officially moved downstairs into my soaping room, so it's a little bit harder to kind of work with because I'm not used to the space, but it's all good. So I'll actually do it this way for you. So I'm just pouring my lye solution down the shaft so that we eliminate as many bubbles as we can. And get that mixed. So the actual soap batter is going to be a lot thicker more quickly. Not necessarily, I mean, it's hitting trace a lot more quickly, but it's not necessarily because of the lye. It's more because of the oils that I put in. The coconut oil is it thickened already, like the palm oil and everything. It got thicker again, so we're working with a thicker batter basically. I just have to pull out my. What's nice with everything being ready here, down here, is that all my containers are ready to go. I just have to pull them off the shelf. I don't have to search for them, so it's great. So my colors that I have are all from Nurture Soap. So I'm going to have the Vibrance Red, which is that there. I will be mixing a little bit of the pink because I don't want it to be red. I kind of want it to be a little bit of a cherry kind of red. And then we'll have just a teeny bit of umber brown, and then I have the Vibrance Green, and that's what that is. So and I sprinkled a little bit in there. So I'm gonna split the batter. I just want a little bit of green, so I'm not, or a little bit of brown, so I'm not gonna mix too much in here. It's just to say. Okay, so move that over. And then this will be the green. And I don't even think I'm going to put any white in there, or any cream color, because the icing is going to be like a creamy white color. So I think I'm just going to do those three, and that will be that. So let's mix our red into the bigger pot right now. So I just grabbed, before I started, I grabbed a little bit of the main oil and put it in there, about 2 tablespoons or so, because I do want it quite bright. And so we're just putting that in there. So I'm going to mix this up right away and see how the color is, and then we will add a little bit of that pink just to lighten it a little bit. One thing I found with the red Vibrance is that it doesn't look very red when you're mixing it, so I'm always tempted to kind of not feel like it's the proper color, though it is. So it's a little bit deceiving, I find. So we're gonna add the little bit of pink, just to, like I said, we're just brightening it up a little bit, making it more of like a cherry pink and not so much of a deep red pink, or deep red. I'm getting out of range there. So I'll finish with that, and I'll mix the rest by hand. And like I said, I'm having to move a little bit more quickly just because of my oils being a little bit more fully at room temperature, really. There's nothing other than that. So I'll move this over. Let's mix the green. I find even my table, because it's a lot lower, it's a different angle to be working the soap even. We're going to do the green now. Hello to everybody that's following or that's watching. Let me know where you're from. Let me know if you've ever seen, you know, these kinds of soaps made. I really enjoy hearing from you guys. It's a lot of fun to get some feedback on where you guys are from and all that kind of stuff. Whoops. We're all over the place today, jeez. So we're going to mix that up. Okay. And this moves, you guys, I know that. Okay, so we're done with all of these. I find I almost have less space. It's kind of weird. Though I have a whole table. And this is the Umber Brown. I sometimes add them directly to the batch as well. But for whatever reason, I decided to do it like this. I kind of switch between the two. It depends on how I'm feeling, I guess. If I want to pre-mix, then I do that. If I don't really feel like it. I'm just always scared when I mix it right to the batch in powder form that I'm going to get a chunk somewhere. And so that's all that is, really. Alright, so we're definitely, and now my hands are full of soap. I'm taking this off. Sorry again, jeez. I'm still not 100% satisfied even with my setup, so for you guys to watch, I mean. So we'll put this over here. Alright, so those colors are mixed. I'm going to change my gloves because I'm really full of soap batter. Okay. And then I'm going to have to keep this right here. I won't be able to move it, so hopefully you guys can see well. Okay, so we'll put the fragrance oil. There we go. And I'm just mixing my my fragrance into my bowl right now. It's such a yummy, yummy apple scent. It's not like a fake apple. It's really nice. So we're going to pour a little bit of that down there. So this time I'm not going to really play with the soap inside. I'm going to kind of leave it as the swirls kind of go in. And see how that works. The fragrance actually loosened up the soap a little bit, which is nice. So definitely, you know, more Christmassy kind of colors with the red and the green. So it's going to kind of fit, like I'm doing it for fall, but it'll definitely be able to fit in with, you know, with Christmas and all that too. So, and I'm going to pour a little bit higher for this one. So I'm just kind of alternating through my colors at this point. And I mean, I guess I could have put a little bit of cream to break up these colors, but honestly, I think it's just gonna be something really nice inside instead of always having, I find we always put a cream, or you know what I mean? It's kind of like an automatic color that goes in there. So try it out with no creamy color. And I'll scrape the bowl on the last shot there. There we go. And I did a little bit less of like ounces for this one because I found that the other ones were just way too tall. Like they're too big. They're like 9 to 9.5 ounces. And I just find that's just way too big. For me anyways. I like my soaps at the 5.5 to 6. And it's okay if they're around the 8-ish. But anything more than that is a little too much for me. So like I said, I'm just scraping my bowls down now. Of course, the husband's going to come to see what I'm doing. I'm making soap. Okay, well, I'm just letting you know. That's still not thick enough. All right.
Making soap. Why are you so upset?
Alright. So I'm just trying to fix myself up so that we can get this, and it's still not that thick, so we're gonna stick blend this a little bit. Alright. And that's making a big difference right there. So I'm just going to move this aside because it's doing really good. And then I just wanted to kind of go over how I prepare even my like my piping stuff. Before I forget where I put everything. Okay, so here. So I automatically have my piping bag with the Doppler piece attached to it. And then my pieces here. Geez, I should have taken this out. I completely forgot about 8 pieces. Where they are. Oh, there it is. Okay. Here we go. So these are the tips that I have. And I just kind of stack them all on top of each other. I'm probably going to do this tip here. So it is a 3 or 4B. I'm not going to be switching them this time, not because it didn't turn out or didn't work out. I'm just kind of wanting to switch things up a little bit this time. So I just attach it and twist this on. And then I just get myself a container or a bowl or anything like that. And I just slip those in there. Standing up kind of thing. I'm going to actually use this. So now, like I said, it's kind of weird because I'm not fully set up like I normally am. So you want to twist the end so that the soap doesn't go through to the bottom. And then you're going to stick that on the bottom. And then you're just going to go around and tuck that in. You do want an opening that's going to be small enough or the right size for you to be able to tuck that in. It just makes everything a lot more easier. So let's take a look at this. And again, we're kind of going back and forth trying to get that icing to thicken. And it is doing fairly well. And I don't tend to put fragrance in my icing. Because it's not the majority of the batch and you really don't need to. It's not necessarily. If you want, you can, but it's really not necessary. So, I don't know. Okay, yeah, so you guys can see. I'm just going to swirl the top here so that we have a nice little design in the center. Okay. So that's that. And then I wanted to open this up. I'm going to take my gloves off again. I wanted to open this. Here we go. I got these last year and I didn't end up using them because I kind of got them when they were on sale. And I pretty much already had all of my soaps ready, so didn't end up using it. But these are what's in here. So there's little leaves in different colors. There's just like little confetti. There's little pumpkins. There's red and gold, sugar crystals kind of thing. And then these little pearls type thing. So very similar to like the white pearls and stuff that I've used. So I'm going to use these. And I might use a little bit of these two sprinkles. I'm not sure because I do have glitter in red anyways. Red. Here we go. So I do have glitter in red anyways. So you guys can let me know if I should do the candy glitter or if I should do the actual glitter. But regardless, I'll be using these little dots there. So let's just go down or up, I guess, and see a few little comments because I was mixing stuff. Gloria, I found my cake pan actually at like a used store type thing, like we call ours Value Village. And I'm not 100% sure the size of mine. Let's see if I've got a don't. Normally I do, but I don't. Like a ruler. Anywhere? No, I don't. But yeah, so I'm not sure, but it makes 12 slices. I'm guessing it's around the 9 inch. Well, maybe not. You know what? I'm not even going to try and guess because I'm not really sure. But it makes 9 or 12 slices of cake. Sorry. So it could be like a 12-inch kind of thing. So just look around and go to like your used places too and see if they've got them, because I get a lot of little molds from like secondhand stores and stuff, so they're really useful. I have like a square one too that I got from a secondhand place, and yeah, so they're awesome. I haven't used that one often. I have this one here that's already separated, and this is what I ended up doing. These were like wax little cakes kind of thing, so that's what I ended up doing with these. And they're great. It's just I find you can't get like a fun kind of swirl, like big swirl like that. You'd have to like individually swirl them. But yeah, that still worked out really good. I was able to do like a little 2-layer kind of thing. These were my test ones, and I had like some frosting there, so I packaged them up, but I didn't give them away, or all of them anyways. I gave away the ones that didn't do that and that were fine. But this was from almost 2 years ago now, so it's kind of faded a little bit, but I like to keep a few little things just to remember and, you know, have as little decorations once I'm all set up. But yeah, these ones are really useful too, and these ones you can get off of Etsy. I've got them. So if you're not, you know, wanting to make a big cake, because then you got to cut all that too, right? So if you're not good at that, and I know like my cutters won't cut it, I have to cut it by hand, and so it doesn't end up making perfect slices. Like you could see here, I had to kind of, you know, but they're still, it's very handmade kind of looking, and they still look fantastic to me anyways, but I just want them to be a little bit shorter, just to say, because I just find they look really big. Like you wouldn't ever have an actual piece of cake that's that big. So, well, some of us would, but for me, I just feel, you know, that it would be better if it was a little bit smaller. So yeah, so you might want to check out one of these too if you're looking. So let's see how this is doing. It's getting thicker. Again, we're playing that waiting game, and it's such a pain because when we're live, there's only so much that I can really do. The reason why you can't hear Amber is just because I'm walking away from the actual microphone once in a while. I pretty much have to be like over my phone so that people can hear. So it's a little bit hard when I'm walking away slightly. Get my gloves on again before I forget and get burned. So it's nice and white. I didn't have to put any titanium dioxide in there. It came out white like this, and I find you get that color when you have less like yellow type oils. So olive oil, even like rice bran oil is pretty yellow. Like I'll show you guys. It's a pretty yellow oil. The palm oil isn't, so that kind of helps. But I find it helps when you let the oils get like fully room temperatured and even like a little bit cooler, and then they kind of turn white like that. And I'm gonna say it's even the same idea as when you do like whipped soap too. I find I've seen a lot of videos and their batter goes like white from whipping it. So put this over here. Still not quite, but you know, we're getting there. It's mixing. You have to keep mixing, keep thickening it, pushing it over trace. The recipe, like the soap recipe, Margaret, is the exact same. I never change my recipe, but the amount I changed. So my other one, I did 70 ounces altogether. So 50 in here and 70 or in 20 in here. This time I did 40 in this one and 20 still, because I had pretty much enough to do, you know, my little decorations and stuff. I had a little bit left over, but it wasn't a lot, so I'm kind of going to keep it at that. I might change it to maybe 17 next time and see, but I didn't really want to mess around with it too much. But this was 50 and now it's 40, and it's not quite full. There's about an inch-ish, almost an inch lower than the rim kind of thing. So they will, I guess, the two soaps, I'm going to make them this, well, I'm still debating. I'll probably make them the same price and just not have them side by side so people don't even realize that they're different sizes, but I'm going to price it to what these ones would be, not the higher ones. So anybody that's going to grab the pumpkin ones are going to get more, but I'm pricing them for this size here because I think next year that's what or, you know, any other season that I make cakes, that's the size that I'm going to make. Like I said, the last cake, it was the first one that I did like that. So still kind of playing around with it a little bit, but playing around with the size, I guess, is what I'm getting at. So I think this is the size that I'm going to go with, because they should be more at the 7.5 to 8 ounces slices instead of like the 9 to 9.5 slice. That's a lot of soap. And it's just, it's price point, right? Like I don't want it to be too high of a price point either. So I'm trying to make it so that it works for everybody. Let's give this one more good mix, because I don't want the video to be long like the other one. It is creamier because it's thicker, right? It's, the oils are more solidified, so it's very, very creamy. This should be good to go. So it's our August long weekend. I'm very excited. We're getting our pool put in on Tuesday. Well, they're going to be digging on Tuesday. Doesn't mean we're getting the pool on Tuesday, but they're going to start digging. So my husband's out getting all this stuff done, and that's who came down. And I have a very hard time filming when he's around because he makes me feel uncomfortable, I guess. He makes me feel like, I guess it's just because he thinks it's funny that I do this. And I mean, uploading the videos onto YouTube, I'm making money. So it's funny that he thinks it's funny that I'm making money, basically. But yeah, he always makes fun of me, and so I kind of get not angry at him, but just, you know, so I was kind of telling him without saying it to you guys to like leave the room, and that's why as soon as he walked in I told him right away so that he'd probably kind of get the idea and get what he needs and get out kind of thing, but he didn't. And of course he came and laughed at me, and I guess all of our husbands kind of make fun of something that we do, but that's definitely one thing that I can never tape when he's around because he just makes fun of me. So I'm gonna have to have to have a sign on the door when it's closed that says, "Video in progress, do not come in." My daughter's pretty good because she's starting to do videos. She's got a little YouTube channel, and so she gets it, right? So she comes and she watches what I'm doing, and I don't feel uncomfortable around her. But him, yes, most definitely. And I mean, I guess at some point I would get used to it, but right now I'm not, and yeah. I'm just not used to it, so. Alright, so I think that's a pretty good view. And hopefully this is creamy enough, like icing. Okay. And I like to lean mine, I don't know if you guys can see, I like to lean my bag on the table and gently push until I kind of start seeing it on the end. And you kind of want to move your hand in at the same time so that you eliminate any of the bubbles or air pockets. So I can see it right there. So let's get started. And I want the blobs to be fairly big. And this is like perfect consistency. Still a tad runny, but nothing, you know, to be worried about like last time. And again, like here I only put 2, there I put 3. Like it's not a big deal, but I mean, whatever. I'm obviously not separating everything equally, and that's what's happening. So we're just gonna kind of build this up now. And same thing in the other video. If you're not, you know, crazy about your design, you're easily able to kind of put stuff on top of it. So you're not gonna mess it up. Don't worry about messing it up. It's all just, it's cake, right? So you're just, it's just decorating. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once you cut it, nobody's gonna know, right? Like what it looks like in all one piece. So it really doesn't matter. But I like to do variation in size as well. So like you guys can see, I went from a larger plop of icing to smaller. And it just gives it, you know, some interest, I guess, is what we would be looking for. And then just keep going, like however much, you know, batter you have, just keep going until you have none left. And I mean, if you're like me and it has to kind of be somewhat even, and I don't want to do like half of the cake with, you know, something and then not follow all the way through, then just whatever that's left, just put it in a little container and use it for personal soap. Like it's not, you know, it's not a big deal. So we kind of have a base down. Let's try, and I still have quite a bit of soap. So let's try to kind of really split this up so that I have 12 cakes. So let's do kind of a bigger dollop. So 1 and then 2 here. And let's go down here. And okay, and then we have room to do 3. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's a little bit better. Now we can kind of top these ones off. I did think of making little soap gumballs to put on them, but I didn't have any melt and pour, and I could have went and just got some like at Michael's. That's what I normally end up doing. I don't, like, sometimes I buy some from the suppliers, but it's not very often. But yeah, I thought about it, and then I'll just do, I've seen that I had those like little sprinkles there, so I figured I'll use those this time. And like I know a lot of the other soaps that I'll make, like the loaf soaps, they'll have you know, the little soap gumballs and stuff. Probably the cupcake soaps will have the little gumballs. So I'm not really worried. So like I said, we're just adding. So even with this, like you could probably do like 17 ounces and you'd have enough. Because now I'm just kind of trying to use up the soap type thing. So dollop after dollop. And it's just, you know, it's fine. It's just making the soap look like go higher, which is great. That's not a bad look at all. So now I'll definitely be able to see exactly where, you know, the main cuts will be. And I think this will be it because I'm getting close to there. So I'm not going to play with it anymore. And I barely have any, like, I'll just put it in a, I like to put them in this little mold right here. And you guys can probably still see in the back. So I just kind of, whatever that's left, I just go like that. So I'll have like one extra unscented, you know. I like to just use these. You could shred it and, you know, whatever. So yeah, I would say 17 ounces would be perfect. And there we go. So I'll just smack that to get the air bubbles out. There we go. Okay, so back to this. So I am going to sprinkle, and I'm going to take my gloves off because my hands are sweating, and I want to make sure that my hands aren't sweating all over the cake. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to use, whoops, where are you guys? I'm going to use this one here to sprinkle all over. And I'm sprinkling it right out of the container. I'm not taking any by hand or, you know. So, and not too much, you know, you want just a few here and there, but like everywhere. Okay. And I think I will just go with glitter, and I actually don't want any in the middle. So, where's my little spoon? Or not my little spoon, but my little... So, trying to not mess anything up. Oh, it's going to make a line. So it's okay. There's not too many in the middle, so it's all good. And I am going to take just the glitter to just kind of eliminate any excess sugar that doesn't really need to be there. So I'm just going to take a little bit with my... and just kind of sprinkle... I'd much prefer my little tea infuser or whatever they're called, but this will be fine. Takes a little bit more time, but and of course this is the silent moment because I have to concentrate as to how much I put on, so a little bit more over here. So I would say, I guess tips of even things that I'm learning as I'm making them, to definitely let your batter sit, or like your oil sit, even 2 days. I was originally going to make the soap yesterday, but when I was coming down to set myself up, my son woke up. So then I had to, you know, put that idea aside and tend to him, I guess. So I didn't end up making any of that soap yesterday. So it stayed there overnight. So 2 full days basically is when I let it sit, how long I let it sit for. I'm just kind of wanting a little bit of like a iridescent type. I'm just looking through my, I'm going to probably do just the snowflake sparkle. If just so that I can kind of mix things up a little bit. I just find it's like too blobby red with the sparkle. So let's just to add a little bit of shimmer here and there, and even in the center. I found on my last one, I almost put too much in the center. You could barely see like the swirls. But yeah, so let the soap sit for a little bit longer than you normally would. And then that way it'll reach trace a lot more quickly for the batter part. Not too quickly where you're going to end up running out of time to make the actual soap itself, but just for the icing part. So even if you wanted to mix your icing part the 2 days before, and then the rest you could mix the day before or even that morning of. But yeah, I think those are the main tips, I guess. So this is it. And it's quite high, as you guys can see. So it's a good cake. It's very, very good. So this one is scented, like I said, in the apple pie. I mixed apple pie and Santa's Pipe from Candora. 2 beautiful scents. So if you guys are still looking for fall scents, those are definitely 2 of them that you'd want to look for. But I will catch you guys tomorrow for when we cut the soap, and I'll actually go live and cut it so you guys can see how I cut my soap. The last one actually was ready to go much earlier. It was only maybe about 9 hours and I was able to cut it. So I'll wait till tomorrow morning and actually cut it with you guys. All right, so any questions, just comment below, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.